Hello and welcome aboard WhalePod to another Genshin Impact video. I'm your Captain Whale, and in today's video, we will be faking you out because we are not playing the Phase Trials event. This is doing triple duty. It is a slight review of the Phase Trials event, but as a whole, it is mainly devoted to discussing a little bit about the future of gacha games on the channel, and also going over my predictions for the version 3.1 live stream, now that we have it confirmed that it will be this Friday, September 16th at 7 a.m. Central Time, where I live. First, with the Phase Trials review, I did record all the challenges, trying to do commentary the best I could, but particularly towards the end, it just sort of dropped off because, yeah, it's kind of boring. I wouldn't say kind of boring, it's really boring. It's just a battle arena with the gimmick actually kind of hurts this battle arena, whereas others I think have really helped things out. The gimmick here actually has you stopping time to take pictures of enemy weaknesses and then unleashing super powerful damage based on how many weaknesses you find. And I'm just gonna say that that really breaks the pace of the combat, and I don't like that. Also, one thing that might be more whale problems than anything is a lot of the trial characters they give you for these, and you do get set trial teams per challenge, not a list of ones to build a team from. Like I said, this might just be a whale problem, but I have some pretty high Constellation 5 stars, and it is really unnatural for me to play characters like C0 Kazuha or C0 Yelan, so that adds to the extra awkwardness of each stage as well. Oh, and finally, the Bennett elephant in the room. The Bennetts you get are Constellation 0. They're always on stages with a butt ton of Rift Hounds, like wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of Rift Hounds. So his light healing typically isn't going to be enough to really keep up with the Rift Hounds. And I'm just going to come out and say Constellation 0 Bennett is a really night and day from Constellation 1 Bennett. And these Bennetts are Constellation 0, so if you do drop below 70% HP, which like I said with Rift Hounds you are very likely to do so, you're going to lose that attack buff and not be able to do stuff like snapshot it with characters, bursts that do snapshot, stuff like that. But the bright side of the trial characters is it does make it easier to get into for new players, as you don't have to worry about having a lot of characters built up to level 80 to take part in these challenges. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the main meat of this, which is the future of gacha games on the channel. Yes, I'm going to keep playing Genshin Impact. It is an amazing game. It's not perfect. There are definitely ways, there are definitely ways in which Genshin Impact can improve. And a lot of them could be voiced. There are too many to voice right here, so I will not do so at this time. But I'm more talking about other gacha games I intend to look into playing on the channel. The big one is once my new gaming PC gets here from Apex Gaming, I will be trying out Genshin Impact's older sister, Honkai Impact 3rd, on the channel. Let's just swap to Yelan here so Klee doesn't interrupt us again. And I have heard, well, it's another Hoyoverse game, so I'm more willing to try it out just based on that. I've also heard about parallels between Genshin Impact characters and certain Honkai Impact characters. So Honkai Impact 3rd will be the first new gacha game tried out on the channel once I have acquired a gaming PC that can more adequately handle such things. And we're gonna sort of glide around and do a little bit of Spider-Man here to just keep people from talking over us. Maybe do a little run around, explore as we talk. Others, I will be looking into a game that is sort of being marketed as a Honkai Impact 3rd competitor. It is currently not released globally, and I don't know if it's even going to release on PC when it does. But if it does release on PC when it releases globally, I will be looking into playing through Aether Gazer on the channel. Just like with Genshin Impact, it was seeing images online of a very particular Aether Gazer character that has drawn me towards it, sort of like how I attribute Jean, Kaching, and Eula's designs with drawing me into Genshin Impact during version 1.6. And that character, I'm not even going to try and pronounce her name because boy is it long and boy is it Japanese, and boy am I a dumb American whose first language is English. But it's that, if you know who I'm talking about, you definitely know who I'm talking about, and you definitely know what I'm talking about. It's that white-haired ninja girl in all black with the 2 different colored eyes. So yeah, Ether Gazer is one that I will be looking into, seeing if it's something I want to play on the channel, or if it's even something I even have the ability to record on the channel, because I do not know how to record footage from my phone in a way that is, well, easy to upload and use for my recording purposes. So if it does release on PC, I will for sure check Ether Gazer out. As for ones that I know will release on PC because they're already out globally, this one's not for sure on the channel, and this is where you guys can come in and tell me if you guys want to see it on the channel. That is Tower Fantasy. I currently have no plans to pick up and play Tower Fantasy on the channel due to allegations that it can be very pay to win, and I cannot really afford to whale on more than one gacha game. And Genshin Impact is always going to be the game that I'm going to do my dolphining to whaling on, as I'm able to afford to do so. So as such, the pay-to-win argument is much stronger for me to consider with something like Tower Fantasy than it would be with something like Genshin Impact. Although, I will deign to try out a free-to-play to low spender range account if I can get a certain like goal met on this video in particular. So if you want to see Tower Fantasy, please spread this quiet Kazuha. Spread news of this video and tell them to watch and like your friends that are playing Tower Fantasy and would like to see more Tower Fantasy content out there in the wild. Now, the like goal. As of me recording this, last I checked, my highest likes on any video to date is on my Artifact Strongbox video, and that video had, roughly last I checked, 34 likes on it. So if we can get this video to roughly the same amount of likes, 34, we will try out Tower Fantasy on the channel when my new PC arrives. Now with that, one other segment is with the live stream slated for this Friday. This video is being recorded on Wednesday and slated to go up Thursday, one day before the live stream actually happens. We will be finalizing our predictions. We, of course, know that Cyno, Candace, and Nilou are the 3 new characters we are getting in 3.1. We know their elements. We know they are Electro for Cyno and Hydro for Candace and Nilou. But right now, I'm going to be calling that Candace will be on Cyno's banner. Cyno's banner will be in the first half of the update, with Nilou being in the second half. Those are going to be my predictions. I have not seen any leaks. I do not want to see any leaks. I want to be surprised as we get more news. Well, not necessarily surprised, but excited, hyped as news comes out. Cyno is definitely a character I'm interested in, even if the character I'm most interested in next patch is Candace. Now for other predictions, I've already predicted Cyno will need the Thunderclap Fruit Core from the Electro Regisvine, because I do not believe they will introduce 2 materials, well, 2 Electro bosses back to back, with 3.0 giving us the Regisvine. I don't think 3.1 is going to be giving us a new boss that drops any sort of Electro Fragments. However, I do believe we are still getting 2 new bosses. I believe one of these bosses will be maybe throwing out different elemental types other than Electro and Hydro in order to get...
You want to learn some Favonia's blade work? Alright then, I'll teach you.
Materials for future characters. Sorry, had to mute a few burps there. But I do believe one of these bosses will be Hydro, and that either Nilou or Candace will use it. I'm gonna bet Nilou because she's the 5-star, and Candace will be the one stuck needing Dust of Azoth to convert over the other elemental fragments from the other boss to her element. But fortunately, I do still need 40 Oceanid fragments to get Barbara to 80 of 90 eventually one of these days. So I do have the Hydro fragments harvested from Oceanid to use for Candace, and not have to worry about converting not have to worry about converting things over quite so readily. Earlier, I have predicted that banners could potentially be either could be some combination of Hu Tao, Yai Miko, Venti, and Eula. I'm going to go ahead and finalize. I'm not going to say which halves they're going to be in, but I'm going to finalize and say we're going to get Hu Tao and Venti as reruns in 3.1. Once again, I have not seen any leaks in that regard, Hu Tao just because it's going to be the month of October, and Hoyoverse might know that their Western audience might be more willing to spend for someone like Hu Tao during the spoopy month of October. And we also have rumors of, well, I'm not gonna say rumors, I have a hunch that since we haven't had a Mondstadt festival since version 1.4 with the Windbloom Festival, that we are going to be getting a new Mondstadt festival, potentially Ludi Harpastum, now that Kale is in the game and could visit Mondstadt to attend, like was seeded in the story arc of the Graven Innocence event. And in fact, that is what is having me place my events on Mondstadt event as the main event, Ludi Harpastum as the event for version 3.1. That will be our crown event. They won't give us a free amber, so I'm going to predict we're going to get back-to-back free Kales, because they are really pushing multiple sources of getting people who are free to play a Dendro unit to experiment around with it in its most basic form. We are going to be getting a Ludi Harpastum with a free Kale, Venti getting a rerun because of it, Hu Tao getting a rerun because October, and Hoyoverse would have to be living under an extra large rock to not know at all that us here in the West have a strange obsession with spooky things during the month of October. To me, it's strange. It's pretty obvious Halloween equals spooky, but I don't really see why a lot of adults get as big into Halloween as they do. It's a holiday for kids, or a holiday for, you know, people to do things they regret at adult parties. So for the new characters, I'm predicting Cyno and Candace on the same banners. Candace on Cyno's banner, those banners being first half, Neela coming second half. Reruns, we're going to have Hu Tao and Venti. I don't know which one's which, but if I were doing it one way, I'd probably put Venti next to Cyno, because they're probably putting all the attention on Cyno because he is the Ayaka of Sumeru. He is the character who was previewed back in the Dainsliff story outline trailer, even before Genshin Impact had released. So as such, as Venti has had a rerun much more recently than Hu Tao has, they're probably going to pair Venti with Cyno in order to not overshadow their goodest boy. And they're going to be pairing Hu Tao with Nilou, because Hu Tao is one of the most sought after reruns. And it feels like Nilou is going to be given a bit of a backseat to have Cyno take more precedence. And I'm also predicting a Ludi Harpastum as the main event back in Mondstadt. Focus on Mondstadt, the city itself, for the first time since 1.4 with the Windbloom Festival. Kale and Amber will be the focal point of the story. They're not going to give us a free Amber because Amber is a starter character and they never give us free starter characters. Heck, they don't even let us pull off banner starter characters when we're wishing on limited banners. I really wish they would. But because of that, we're going to be getting back-to-back free Kales because they are really pushing getting Dendro character into people's hands.
Identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some?
I'm also going to try and predict some of the minor events going on here. I do not think we're going to be getting any sort of overflow event during, like the Leyline overflow or the domain overflows during the shortened event, well, during the shortened patch time period. So I'm not going to predict any of those. I do think we're going to see reruns of... I think we're going to see yet another Hyakunin Ikki rerun. I'm also going to guess that we're going to see one new event, and then... Well... No, 2 new events. Yeah, 2 new events and Hyakunin Ikki in addition to the... Wait, how many events have we had here? 5 events total, so we're going to have 2 reruns, 2 new events. That's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting Hyakunin Ikki and Misty Dungeon coming back. And with that, the last things is I'm going to maybe hopefully outline a few materials you should be farming for the new 3.1 characters. I'm not going to say which one of these are going to be needed for each character, other than if it's a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, you don't need it for leveling up the character themselves. Those are only used for weapons. But I am going to come out and say that of the 1-star, 2-star, 3-stars, the ones that I think have the least likelihood of being used are the Inazuma ones, being the Samurai drops and the Spectre drops. I do think we have a high likelihood of eremites and fungi being used still, as they are the brand new ones they have not used before. As for the weapons, I am once again going to say it's going to be some combination of fungal nuclei and chaos bolts. We did get a mixture of needing Raiden Shogun and needing Ajdaha mats during this last cycle, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we're going to need... 2 of them are going to need Raiden Shogun, but the third's going to need Signora. And I think it's going to be Nilou who needs Signora, with Candace and Cyno needing Raiden Shogun. Like I said before, Candace and Nilou are definitely going to have new boss drops. They could use the same, but they could also use different. I'm laying my money on them needing different drops. However, I'm going to say that Cyno is... Well, I'm going to double down, triple down now on the Thunderclap Fruit Core. Of course, Candace and Nilou are going to need these. Cyno is going to need these. Now, we do have one of each of these for the 3.0 characters, and we're getting 3 more in the next patch, so I'm going to predict that 1 each will need each of these. I have been farming up a lot of these because I actually have been raising Tignari and really like using Tignari. You'll be seeing a lot of him when I do my little exploration of the desert for the first time video, like I did exploring the rainforest for the first time. So I'm stockpiling enough to keep leveling up Tignari's talents, as well as to have some on hand for whichever character needs these. But I'm predicting there will be 1 character each for Ingenuity, Praxis, and Admonition here. As for their weapon level up materials, I do think that because Tignari used the Scorching Might ones here for his Hunter's Path, that we will not need Scorching Might for either of the new 5-star character signature weapons. I'm going to predict Oasis Garden's Truth for Nilou's signature weapon, and the Talismans of Forest Dew for Cyno's signature weapons. I could be wrong, and Cyno could get the Scorching Might again because he's an Egyptian boy and wants the Scarab Beetles for his level up materials for his signature weapon. And yeah. As for which Raiden Shogun ones go, though, I'm actually going to say that Cyno's probably going to use the hands because Cyno is a general of sorts. And as Candace is a Hydro character, I'm going to guess that she is going to need the tears. We haven't had other Hydro characters needing the tears of the Calamitous God, but tears are liquid. Liquid is somewhat related to Hydro. There's my reasoning. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Nilou is going to need the Molten Moment from Signora, because it is a flower, and, well, Nilou is related to the Dance of Sabzerus, which was originally performed by the Goddess of Flowers. Alternatively, there is a flower on the meaning of eons, so it could also be the meaning of eons, but I am doubling down on Molten Moment for now. And as for who needs which books, I'm going to guess that... I'm going to guess Cyno is going to need Ingenuity, Candace is going to need Admonition, and Nilou is going to need Praxis. Well, it's mainly just I'm spitballing on Cyno and Candace, and I'm mainly going with Nilou because Praxis, I believe it's in Greek, means practice, and, well, dance is something you really got to practice to get a routine down. That's really the only thing I'm going off of here. Once again, I am going to predict 2 world bosses for the desert. One that is going to drop Hydro Fragments, and I'm predicting that that one will be Nilou's, because as the 5-star, they're going to pair her with the boss that drops her material. As for the other boss, it's going to drop fragments that are not Hydro, and I'm predicting Candace is going to need it. Once again, these are all predictions, just based on inferences we have around here on how things typically work in the past. Also, I don't think they're only going to introduce 1 new boss for a geographical area as large as Sumeru's desert. But as for these, I'm just going to say stockpile all the Sumeru ones. Maybe stock up on your usual Treasure Hoarder and Fatui ones. It could be Slimes and Hilly Churls as well, but you've probably got plenty of those unless you're brand new. So yeah, definitely keep grinding up Eremite and Fungal drops. These 2, the bolts and these, are probably going to be used for the... new weapons. There could also be new enemies that drop 2-star, 3-star, 4-star variants that are exclusive to the desert that could be used for these weapons as well. If that were to be the case, I'd assume we've seen in some of the earlier promotional materials some deserty looking ruin machines that look more like they were built by the Scarlet King's civilization rather than Conria. And if they are indeed built by the civilization that worshipped the Scarlet King rather than Conria, it wouldn't exactly make sense for them to use Conrian chaos technology. So they'd probably have their own unique drop, and it would probably be a 2, 3, 4 like the other robotic enemy parts are. And if that were to be the case, at least one, if probably not both, of the new 5-star weapons would probably use those new drops. If there are new drops, you can't really pre-farm them beforehand, but also at the same time, pre-farming these drops will not hurt you, as eventually down the road there will be more weapons that use them. With that, those are my predictions for 3.1 and a little bit of update about the future of gacha games on the channel. No, I'm not stopping playing Genshin Impact. We are just going to be adding in some new series to the channel eventually. Now with that, I hope you all have enjoyed this video, WhalePod. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as all of them help me out immensely and cost you nothing more than a moment of your time. And do remember, once again, if we get to 34 likes on this video, I will try out Tower of Fantasy when my new PC gets here. It's taken over 2 months already to even get the parts for the build, so I do not suspect that will be too soon. But whenever it does happen, we will start playing Honkai Impact 3rd, and if the like goal is met, Tower of Fantasy. But with all that said and done, WhalePod, I hope you all are having fantastic days. I have been your Captain Whale, but until next time, this is goodbye.